Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Elhassan. Amin, you hear that music?
I do. It means we're in Boston. You can also tell by the little leprechaun right there.
Yeah. The cute little leprechaun guy. We're in Boston. The NBA season has finally kicked off. And last night, I got to experience one of the coolest things a fan could ever hope to see. Can we show a picture?
That's right, Charlotte. All hell the algorithm. We got to see father and son on the same court at the same time in the same game in the regular season. Everybody went nuts. Let's go ahead and go to LA right now and start talking about breaking down Bronny and LeBron.
I root for the Celtics. They won the championship last season.
That was last season.
I got to see them raise the banner. You have to let me talk about it. We're in Boston. Come on.
Let's see a blanket go up into the roof.
Okay. All right. We all get it. Look, we're joking, but I thought it was very cool. I'd never seen a banner ceremony before. I'd never seen a team get their rings. And it was exciting, obviously, that it was a team that I root for. Apparently, that wasn't covered everywhere, though. No? I heard that TNT didn't show the banner going up into the rafters, which
What do you mean?
Well,
they just cut it off as soon as they said.
Yeah, it went to like a Popeyes commercial or something.
I love those Popeyes commercials, though.
But I got to see it. You were in the media room eating dinner.
Popeyes, though.
We have footage of. Look at that! Look at that banner
that's
go.
That's an Oddball exclusive angle right there, huh?
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah.
I also bumped into minority owner Steve Pagliuca, and he let me hold the championship ring.
The actual ring?
Yeah, the actual ring. How much do you think those things cost? All right, Steve, what do we got here?
We got the 2008, 2024 ring.
Can I hold one? Okay. Well, this is the coolest thing that I've ever held. Thank you so much. And thank you for the championships, too, while I'm at it.
You should have just sprinted away at that point. Like, it's worth a try.
Also, I'm in the first video, I'm holding Steve's popcorn and Rice Krispie treat. I think it's important to point out.
Guy needs his vitamins, you know?
But I do think we should talk about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics 6.
I guess. Was there a game? It felt like there was a massacre last night.
Yeah, it wasn't so much a game as a 3-point contest where one team isn't participating. The Celtics dominated from start to finish. They won 132-109, and they just never looked competitive, the Knicks. And so we've done all these predictions leading up to the season. And you've said it, I've said it, the Thunder are going to win. After last night, we were in the press box, and I turned to you after like the first quarter, and I was like, okay, take it all back. The Celtics are repeating.
This is my favorite part of any NBA season, right? The first quarter of the first game when everyone knows absolutely everything that they know, right? Yeah. So we know the Celtics are unstoppable. We know the Knicks are a mess. We know, it's like, Jason Tatum's going to win MVP because the first game clearly is how the other 82 go.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
For one team, the dream of the undefeated season ends. For the other one, the dream lives on. But I think it's defending champs, obviously, but also it's a team that's been together for several years. They know how they want to play versus a bunch of dudes that have been thrown together fairly late in the game. I know they had a full training camp, but, Karl Anthony Towns got traded like literally days before camp opened. So there isn't all that informal kind of pickup game stuff that you did in the offseason to get to know your teammates. Also, obviously, they're dealing with injuries. Also, obviously, when a team hits 29 threes, at some point, it's like there's not much you can do. Many of those threes were wide open, but a lot of them weren't. And it was just like, if Jason Tatum's in front of the Celtics bench in a triple threat stance and Mikal Bridges all over him, and he says, you know what, to hell with it, I'm shooting it anyway. There's not much you could do about that.
You know what it reminded me of, which is probably horrible flashbacks for Knicks fans, was that game in the playoffs, Game 7 of the semi, what do you call it? I'm blanking.
Before the
Eastern Conference? Yeah. It's been a minute, folks. The 7th game of the second round where the Pacers shot historically from 3 in the playoffs. Do you remember that? And the Knicks just couldn't do anything. They were also all hurt, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
But I think you're right. I think that, this is a team, a lot of these guys have been together for literally 7 years. So, of course, the first game of the season is
that was in the little video. Did you like the video that they played before the ring ceremony started where they show you how all this began, where Brad Stevens press conference and Jaylen Brown getting drafted and here she's
Did I like
flustered,
that?
Yeah.
Did I like that? Do you think that the Knicks, have to add something at the trade deadline? That was.
I think it's way too
just
early.
too early.
It's just too early.
Yeah.
Like we don't know anything. They're not even healthy, for crying out loud.
Right.
Let them figure everything out. Let them get on the same page. And the cool thing is, Charlotte, when you talk about the Knicks and their fan base, they're very patient. They obviously take everything in context. Like my man Ben Stiller, who tweeted this, deleting my last post, too in the moment, frustrating. I have been searching high and low to figure out what those posts were. Unfortunately, the internet is not very helpful in these kind of circumstances. When I said, what did he post?
Well, right. People's imaginations fill in the blanks. I'm shocked no one got a screenshot of it before he deleted it. If it was that. I feel like it was probably more benign than he's made. It was probably like, the Knicks. Right.
It's Ben. So what's it going to be? It's like, this is disappointing. Wait, no, that's too harsh, guys.
Yeah, Mikal's not shooting well. Sorry, that was mean.
Isn't it weird? Like, I look at Ben Stiller's highly accomplished actor, director, very funny person, very serious person at times. He's done incredible work. And then when I read his tweets about the Knicks, this is like my buddy Elite. When I'm like, how old are you, man? It's like a 12-year-old sometimes. Like, I'm so mad. I'm sad. This is disappointing. What are you talking about?
That's fan brain. That's fan brain being rot. Activated. Fan brain rot.
Well, I'll tell you what else is rotten in the Kingdom of Denmark.
What?
Mikal Bridges' jump shot, man.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I meant to tell you, we got there early and we actually have footage of him practicing his threes. This is great. If we can roll that.
Sorry.
No, it's
just funny.
It's just Amin with the weird wrist thing that happened.
That's not funny at all.
Well, it's a little funny.
No, it's not.
It's a little funny. Mm-hmm.
You know what?
What?
He gets paid to do it. I don't. You pay me, I'll start shooting a lot better. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But the Knicks have been very defensive about this point, Charlotte. And when asked about, it's clearly
about Mikal's shot.
About Mikal's shot, because there's a clear difference between last season and this season. I talked to a couple of beat writers after the game. They all said they said that he claims, Mikal Bridges claims, I tweak my shot every offseason.
Really?
And that this is nothing new and nothing to see here. After the game, they asked Josh Hart about it, and Ian Begley tweeted out that Josh Hart said, quote, the talk around his shot is stupid and we're not gonna entertain it.
Are you buying that he tweaks his shot every offseason? I'm not being sarcastic. Truly.
This is what I talked about this with James Edwards of The Athletic, who's covering the Knicks, and Christian Winfield, who covers the Knicks for the New York Daily News. And we're both like, look, I don't doubt what he's saying. All I'm saying is, he's had a pretty consistent looking shot year to year. And now all of a sudden he's got a hitch in there and it seems to be a lot slower of a release. He might have tweaked it every summer. This is a bad tweak though.
Yeah.
Both things can be true. He can be right. Like I do this every year, but also the one that you did this year sucked.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to be working. And by the way, the Celtics noticed. Because after a couple of shots, they just stopped guarding him. They let him, tee off as much as you want. Yeah. He started 0 for 5 from 3. And I'm going to tell you, Charlotte, players feel it. They know when they're not. It's when they're like, I'm open. And it's like, oh, no, I'm open.
Yeah.
There's two different feelings. I'm open because they got caught slipping. And I'm open because they don't respect me.
Which is, that's the most disrespectful thing you can do, really, is just not guard a guy. But if they're not hitting the shot, it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, the Celtics, too. I mean, as you said, they just shot lights out. They had the single game NBA record for threes made. Jason Tatum had 8. Derek White had 6. Jaylen Brown had 5. Drew Holiday had 4. Al Horford had 3. Sam Hauser had 2. And my God, Peyton Pritchard had 1. The funny thing is, though, that the crowd at some point realized that they had tied the record, and everybody started standing up, going 1 more 3, and it was garbage time. They had their guys in, all those Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, the rotation guys.
It was rotation guys.
And Luke Cornett too was out there.
I know.
I know. That's my point. Every time I say the Celtics are so deep. No, they're not. They don't even have enough scrubs for garbage time. That's how bad it is.
All right. Well, that's a different conversation. We'll have that later. But what happened was that the crowd started chanting 1 more 3. The Celtics bricked 13 in a row. They could not get it in. And Jaylen Brown in the postgame presser was like, this is evidence we are not hunting threes as we have been accused of, because when we try, we cannot hit them.
The other quote that was funny from postgame, while you guys were in the room listening to Jaylen Brown, I was kind of out in that little hallway.
Yeah.
Sam Hauser was getting interviewed by NBC Sports Boston, and he said, that has to be the first time in the history of sports where the defending champs on ring night, up 30, are getting booed by their crowd. Because they started, when they held it at the end, to not, to be good sports or whatever, the crowd starts booing because they wanted one more three.
Oh,
never changed Boston.
Wow. I mean, last night for me, watching that banner go up, it did, I'm going to be corny for 1 second. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of, I think working in sports especially, you can get pretty jaded, and it's like, here's this game, here's that game. And this was a moment where I was like, you know what, this actually is extremely cool. And I did get a little emotional, and I was like, not because basketball is I'm not crying because of basketball.
What are you
like
crying about?
Tearing up over the fact that this is where you grew up. And like, it just connects you to home. And that's the thing that sports.
It's Bronny time, folks. Let's go. That's what you talk about, growing up in basketball and everything, your childhood, family. And last night, LeBron James and Bronny James became the first father-son duo to check into a regular season game at the same damn time. Take a look at that. We had looked at a picture of little Bronny back in like 2006 or 7 or whatever. And now here he is. He's a full-grown man in the NBA, even though they still carpool to work. And he lives in the same house.
You called it, though. You said he was going to go in the last couple minutes of the second quarter.
Charlotte, every prediction I made the other day about opening night came true, other than the part about the Lakers losing to the Wolves by more than 1.5 points. That one did not work. But Jaylen Brown scored less than 30.
It's true.
And Bronny and LeBron played in the first half. By the way, Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. were in attendance. It's a very cool pick there because they obviously played together as well.
In Major League Baseball.
In Major League Baseball, yes. This is the first time in NBA history any of this happened. How do you feel? Because we got out of the game just in time to see this moment on TV.
Well, I kind of wanted to ask you something because I don't know whether I'm going to feel like an NBA Grinch when I say this. I feel like every single time Bronny gets drafted, it's a huge moment. And everyone's like, history. Bronny shows up for camp, it's a huge moment. Everyone's like, history. They sit together at media day, everyone's like, history. And then he gets into the game and everyone's like, oh, wow, it happened, history. And it's like this reverent, it's like in the NBA world, it feels like you have to talk about this as oh my God, what an absolutely beautiful thing. It's cool.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm sort of used to it by now because we've had so many historic LeBron and Bronny moments.
Well, welcome to the content machine, Charlotte Wilder.
Yeah.
This is
but
it.
Were you moved at all? Were you when they took?
I have not been moved by any of this at any point. I do think it is neat. It is. It's more a testament to.
It is neat.
It's more a testament to LeBron's longevity. It's amazing that LeBron is not only still playing, but that he's great at playing, right? That's the cool stuff. Like, Bronny is something that's been shoehorned into this, and I feel for the kid because it's like, I want to live my life. I don't want your life, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he is so good at not having facial expressions. He has grown up in the spotlight. He knows how. Except
for that one time when LeBron said he knew when he was 5 years old that he was going to be something special. Bronny's facial expressions at that point were. Mwah.
Yeah, they were really good then. But like on the bench before he gets in, he gets taken out on the bench after. It's just like pretty blank slate.
Do you see we can't play it, but like the TNT Inside Tracks audio assist, whatever the hell they call the thing where they're mic'd up on the bench. And LeBron is giving what is clearly rehearsed sage advice, and Bronny's like not even paying attention. I'm just watching the game,
like,
Dad.
Yeah, I'm in it, Dad. I don't know. I feel like if this were something where LeBron's son was also the phenom that LeBron was, that might hit a little bit differently. But it's like, well, Bronny's there because he's your son. I don't know. Whatever. It's still cool.
You guys all complained about the Nassus. Come on.
Okay. All right. Leave the Antetokounmpos out of this. There was a game.
Yes, there was.
The Lakers and the Wolves played.
They did.
The Lakers won, and Ant Edwards shot 10 for 25. Could not get the Timberwolves going late in the game. And I think that Taylor Rooks reported Chris Finch saying that the Lakers just want it more and that the Wolves were not going for it the way they needed to.
Yes, that's my favorite. When you just say they wanted it more.
So what should we take away from this?
Who wants this? Ooh, me. And the other guy say, I'll take it. And like, oh, it goes to the eager beaver over here.
It felt a little bit like that though.
Yeah, I mean, it's opening night. You're at home. And oh, by the way, we can say all we want about the Lakers being lesser than the teams in the upper crust of the Western Conference. But it's like, you still have LeBron and you still have Anthony Davis, who was amazing last night. It's like everyone's talking about Lebron and Bronny. It's like, it was Anthony Davis who really dominated that game. On the other end of the spectrum, I kind of look at the Timberwolves and I think to myself, like, this is like the Knicks. It's just day one. We need time to grow chemistry and rotations and all that. But this is the nightmare scenario, which is we miss Karl Anthony Towns shooting. Julius Randle is not a spacer. This whole thing looks congested. Rudy Gobert is someone that has huge deficiencies that can be exploited. Yeah. Anthony Edwards has to do it all on his own. Dante DiVincenzo is a nice addition, but he's not enough to make up for the offensive juggernaut that you gave up in Karl Anthony Towns. And there's just like a lot of like, oh man, like if Ben Stiller were a Wolves fan, I'd love to see what his tweets would have been last night.
That's a great point. I do think, the schedule is made before the Knicks and Timberwolves trade happened.
Yeah, no, the trade happened right before camp.
Right, which is why I think it's sort of wild that it worked out that way, that we got the biggest trade of the offseason. We got to see both sides of that trade on opening night, and both clearly looked like they need more time. And I think that that's what we have to keep saying. Like, this is not what they're going to be the whole season. Like, both teams, I think, still have a very high ceiling. Even though I sat outside of TD Garden with a sign that said, hate the Knicks, talk to me. I don't hate the Knicks.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. That's
sorry.
Future content.
Well,
the content machine.
I posted it on Instagram, so it's already out there. All right, we have some time here for Coach Sickos, is what we're calling this segment, which is...
Multiple, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? We had Joe Mazzulla and JJ Redick.
Oh, JJ Redick. Welcome to the Coach Sigo segment.
Yeah, we can't close the show, first of all, without mentioning Joe Mazzulla. He kissed the floor when he went up and got his ring. And he was asked about it in the post game by our friend Jared Weiss. Let's roll this.
2 questions. 1, what went through your mind when you were handed your ring? And 2, what did the court taste like?
Blood. Maybe I wish it did. When I got the ring, I don't know. This thing's too big. I don't know why is it so big and I'm never going to wear it.
Okay. He's a real one for that answer, because that is definitely what was going through his head. Everyone's like, oh, it was so cool and meaningful. And he's like, this ring is huge. The blood thing is also him telling the truth, and it's super weird.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that particular basket they came out under before they got their rings, that's the same basket that Paul Pierce allegedly shit his pants under when they got in the wheelchair and rolled them out. So it may not be blood, Joe. It may not be blood.
All right.
Might be a little mixed in with that.
That's disgusting.
Little swirl.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
Mazzulla does have a contender for top coach sicko, because JJ Redick is a coach in the NBA now, and we all knew this was coming. And he said that he is going to petition the NBA tomorrow to play with worn-in balls. Here's the thing, the home team, first of all, right, haha. The home team, though, is the team that gets to choose what ball they play with.
The game
and
ball.
They're allowed to play with a worn-in ball. So what is he talking about?
Well, all right, so... Yes, you present the balls to the refs, and the refs say, okay, this one will do, or whatever, and they have an alternate ball as well.
And the refs choose.
Yeah, I believe so. The refs have to approve
But the Lakers give them the ones they're choosing.
The refs are not traveling with a case of balls. The home team has the balls. That's what we use, right? Now, every year the league sends like 10 or 20 new balls to every team in July. Right? And so in July, you give them to the Summer League team, and the Summer League team kind of works on them. And then you get to the off season, and then everybody, like all the young guys are coming to work out, they use those. And then when the vets come in, you're giving them the older balls, the veteran balls, while the young players and the rookies are still using those new ones, because those new ones need to be broken in.
Yeah, you want a patina on them. You want the right feel.
Exactly. So I've had the situation in the past where, Shaq is asking for a ball, and I rolled him a new ball, and he rolled that shit right back to me with some choice words. It's like, yo, don't give me one of the new ones. Give me one that's broken in. And so the vets use them, and those are the balls that we use for game balls. Those are the balls that we use in practice. Those are the balls the vets shoot with in practice. The young guys have to use the new ones for the entirety of the year so that by next season, they're a little bit worn and broken in. I don't know why the Lakers presented a new ball to the refs to choose for a game ball.
We're going to need someone in LA to do some digging on this because I'm very confused.
I know a guy in LA.
Okay, great.
Yeah, JJ Redick.
JJ, tell us what you were talking about. Remember when we used to be coworkers? Okay, anyway.
When were you guys coworkers?
DraftKings.
Was he here?
Yeah.
Oh,
come on, dude. Keep up. Also, real quick, the entire Lakers coaching staff wore matching shoes. Which feels like a JJ.
What kind of shoes were those? Dunks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the pandas? Come on, guys. I mean, I love my pandas, but damn, I'm not gonna make everybody dress alike.
It looks a little funky when they're all matching. Anyway, more oddball when we come back.
He wanted them to wear suits, by the way. Do you know that?
Welcome back to Oddball. I might petition to keep that music full time.
No way.
Taking a sip of water
Not
at
a
the
chance.
wrong moment. Okay, real quick. Which Succession character is Bronny? Because LeBron James is definitely the patriarch, the head of Waystar Royco, Logan Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a television show if you somehow missed the boat. and Bronny is either the youngest Roman, the middle Shiv Roy, or the oldest Kendall. And
well, he's not the oldest. Kendall's not the oldest.
Oh, well,
Con is the oldest.
Conhead.
And he's running for president, which, by the way, did anyone, was RFK like doing cosplay as Conor Roy?
I actually thought that earlier.
Like, it was weird. It was really weird. But I digress.
Yeah.
He's clearly Conor Roy, right? Because
Bronny?
Yes, because
no, because he's not like a much older than the rest of his siblings.
No, I know.
And he doesn't have a different mom.
But the other siblings are looked at as more talented.
Wouldn't that so he could be Roman? I mean, he could be Kendall. He could be Jeremy Strong. I think he's Roman.
If he's Roman.
Well, no, because he also doesn't give off the vibes of like he's trying really hard to please his dad.
Yeah, like.
So you're right.
He's living his life, man. Like he's a cool kid, man. He's not trying too hard.
You know how Connor called his fans when he was running for president the Conheads?
Yes.
Bronny's got the Bronheads.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, nice. All right, so I was privileged.
No, we forced you.
Well, yeah, to ask Joe Mazzulla a question in the press conference. So here it is.
Hey, Joe. You're someone who takes a lot of motivation from the outside world, from what you read, you watch, you're listening to. Is there anything in the off season that stuck with you that you brought in to the team this year?
Nothing in particular. I think more just kind of what we talked about here is like, the attachment towards a result versus the process of what you're trying to accomplish. And I never want our guys to forget what we've accomplished in the past. We just can't stay attached to the result of it. We have to constantly focus on the intangibles that went into the process of winning and replicate those over and over and over again. And credit to the guys, they did that tonight, and we got to make that decision, for however long we get to play.
Here's the thing, Joe Mazzulla is a smart guy. He knew I was fishing. He knew I was trying. I think I've asked him about the town like 5 times now. So he knew what I was going for. He didn't take the bait. Also amazing work on focusing in on Joe Mazzulla. Our wonderful, lovely producer Antonio really nailed the focus on that one.
Yeah, not getting attached to getting the shot right. Everyone's got their attachments that they got to let go of, apparently.
Look, we've all got to stay humble. I think
this
everybody's
is my favorite part, when he was out of focus and not looking at him either. Like
we have to constantly focus.
Let's just get,
we have to constantly focus. We have to constantly focus that lens. I think everybody on our team has gotten appropriately roasted today. I mean, this feels like a real banger of a show.
We have to constantly focus.
Also, just real quick, Paul George and Joel Embiid are going to miss tonight's home opener. Opener at home against the Bucks. Oops. No one saw that coming.
Yeah, I made a great betting joke analogy on Golic and Gojo this morning that we can't repeat now because we don't have enough show. Cool. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Goodbye, Boston. Bye.